Welcome to the Navigating Digital Payments podcast, brought to you by Worldline, bringing you the latest innovations, trends, and predictions about the future of payments.
Hello and welcome to Navigating Digital Payments. I'm David Daly from Worldline and I look after the Worldline scientific community. And I'm delighted that we've got another bonus episode for you today with the FinTech Interview, who participated in our e-payments challenge towards the end of January. They won 2 challenges with our clients Accor and SNCF, and also the Special Prize Award in Disruptive Technology. And today we're going to be discussing with them this question of how can you listen to your customers. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Romain Sambrino, who is the CEO of Allo Media. Romain, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you, David. I'm very happy to be here today.
Delighted to have you with us here, Romain. And we've also got another Romain with us here too, Romain Roulier, who is the head of partnerships and sales and also a partner at Allo Media. So welcome to the podcast as well, Romain.
Thank you very much, David. Nice to meet you.
Great stuff. And just as we had with all of these bonus episodes, I'm also thrilled that we've got Ina Kostiuk with us, who is our global partner manager at Worldline for the merchant services part of our business. Hi, Ina. Great to have you here again.
Hello, gentlemen. It's my pleasure to join you today. Thank you.
Great to have you here again too as well, Ina. So as you might have guessed from the podcast title, we're going to be talking about voice recognition and natural language processing. And I thought it'd be fascinating first to understand what challenges you saw that led you to set up Allo Media. We'll maybe talk a little bit about the benefits of using speech-to-text and natural language processing. And then I'm also going to be really interested to hear your thoughts on how this is going to evolve and what some of the future trends are going to be. So if I can perhaps start with Romain Sambrino, could I ask you maybe just to share a little bit about Allo Media's vision and the problem that you're trying to solve for your clients?
Sure, David, thank you. Yes, I founded Allo Media in 2011, publishing industry-specific online phone books. And the company has evolved to become the highest quality AI-driven automated speech processing technology on the market. We analyze phone conversations live better and more accurately than any other engine. Right now, everyone claims to be the best speech recognition engine for B2B or B2C conversational interactions, but it doesn't work. And why? First, accuracy is poor, especially on telephone acoustics, and missing strategic keywords and jargon for brands. In addition, big players struggle to reach high accuracy in any languages but English. And most importantly, with an external speech recognition engine, it's too expensive to analyze the entire volume of calls for brands. That's why Allo Media has developed the best-in-class real-time conversational platform that listens to people better than other engines. We have built an in-house conversational speech processing trained on poor quality audio, and today we have an average of 95% accuracy in batch and real time. And for sure, we are able to replicate this methodology in any language or industry with a fast adaptation of models. We want to provide a solution for brands and partners, a turnkey solution to transform phone conversations in real time into structured data. And the structured data is therefore actionable to increase sales and reduce churn.
So, Romain, there was a few things you mentioned there that I'd like to unpick a little bit more, if that's okay. So you were talking about the quality of a speech processing engine, and I think you mentioned some characteristics. So the accuracy, the being able to manage audio that's not perhaps super clear or that has noise on it. What are some of the, as I said, could you just go a little bit deeper on what makes a good speech recognition engine? What makes it better than another speech recognition engine?
What makes it better? It's because we have learned over thousands of hours of real, spontaneous phone conversation, human-to-human conversation. And most of the speech engine have learned over very oriented communication, human-to-machine mostly. We have built also over thousands of hours of acoustic. The acoustic models are very, very important. It's all the the sounding around the speech. So that's why we are able to provide high accuracy, because we've learned over thousands of hours of real human-to-human conversation, and we've learned and built, and we know how to build a proper real acoustic model over various environments.
So in other words, you've been training your models based on real human-to-human conversations.
Absolutely.
I see. And also you're modeling the acoustic environment, which I guess often is over a phone with background noise, that type of thing.
Absolutely. In the car, over a phone, or in a call center. So these are very specific audio conditions that are the worst audio condition you can have, finally. And human conversation over a phone also is really complex because it's spontaneous as well, and you also overlap when you speak. You cut your sometimes your when you speak to someone else. Right? There's a lot of overlap and crosstalks and everything. So which is make it very specific.
And I can imagine, I mean, you gave the example of speaking in a car, and sometimes when I'm speaking to someone on the phone, if they've got their hands-free kit or whatever set up, it's pretty difficult to follow a conversation or have a conversation as a human. So I can imagine that being a really challenging use case for an AI-based speech processing platform. So Ina, if I can come to you, I guess this speech recognition, voice recognition, natural language processing, these are kind of examples of using AI to automate tasks where previously we would have needed humans, until a computer could understand the conversation, you had to have a human there in the chain. I guess we'd see that as hyperautomation. We published a paper last year on hyperautomation. Could you share some of the latest developments that you're seeing in this space in the market?
Yeah, and of course, for the examples of the speech recognition and facial recognition, the tools like machine learning and AI are crucial. That's why we are now one of the trends of 2022 is actually hyperautomation. For those who are not aware of the term, that hyperautomation actually it's a link between business and technology. And it involves the architecture use of multiple technology and tools or platforms were connected like AI, machine learning, robotics, low-code, no-code tools. And as well for the hyper-automation is one of the high topics in banking at that moment because it's multidisciplinary, connected different things. And I think we mentioned that we have ability for banks actually to reduce staff and have kind of robots talk to people on a phone or via chat for the text. And I'm sure, Romain, you have some developments in the banking area as well. Can you comment on that, please?
Yes, of course. We work with several banks, French banks today, over speech analytics understanding to reduce churn and increase customer loyalty. But we also, as you were saying, provide unique solutions over complex data, which is mainly banking data. So Allomedia also has the capabilities and features to detect this complex data and sensitive data as well, to have a high fidelity transcription of this banking details, and also this capacity to redact directly this sensitive data that must not be kept over the transcription and the audio. So yeah, of course, we have many use cases with the French bank industry today over IVRs or speech analytics understanding and banking data detection, automatic detection.
And Romain, you touched a little bit on the benefits there for banks, for example, for the institution, your direct customer. What are the benefits also for the customers of your customer, if that makes sense, the people who are actually phoning up? What
the end customer. That means that the end customer is going to gain time, not repeating calls to the brand when he has a problem with the brand. That means his data also is going to be secured automatically with all his sensitive data. That means the brand, the end customer might be able to process, to to a banking transfer without having access to an agent. But he can self-characterize some of the processes by himself. That means it's a better experience. It tends to give a better experience to the end customer because they deeply understand what's the problem in the processes of their services and offers. So at the end of the day, it's better experience for the end customer because he doesn't have to repeat the calls, and all the messages he said to the brand are not lost. I don't know if I make it clear.
Yeah, so that, I guess what you're saying is it means someone phoning up can say, I mean, I've had this experience before where you speak to one person or department, and then they say, oh, we need to transfer you, and then you have to re-authenticate and tell the story again and give all the details again, and then sometimes you're transferred to another department and you go through the same again. And it sounds like what you're saying is that by capturing all that data straight away in a secure way without keeping sensitive data, people don't have to keep repeating the same information. Yeah.
And also, at the end of the day, the brand can see that maybe there's a process that is wrong in the transfer of calls and everything, and the customer is always calling back because of the same problem. So yeah, for the end customer, it's at the end of the day, it's helping brands more understand the problems they have in their processes as well, and answers they have to their customers.
And given that there's so many advantages, what are the barriers or the challenges then that companies have to adopt this kind of technology?
The complexity of the integration of the phone system, actually, because the phone system are very different, depends of the integrators, the operators. So to capture the streams in real time or to record the streams, it's a challenge for us and for the brand and for the IT teams. Also, I think to use this data, it's very important to commit a project member each day to analyze and mine the data that we share in each day. Yeah.
So if I understand well, part of the challenge is around integrating with existing systems at a technical level, but the other challenge is that it's one thing to collect this data, but if an organization doesn't analyze it, make use of it, then it's not going to give the value that they were perhaps hoping for.
Absolutely. This data must be activated in the good tools. You need to, on day-to-day basis, look at it and follow it in order to take actions from it.
And we also know that this business challenge, it's required certain adjustment and some change management, which usually never goes so smooth. And you have some tools to help them to adjust it.
Yeah. Yes, of course, we help them that way as well. We have also partners that know our technology and that are able to provide other insights as well, depending on the use case. So yeah, we have multiple use cases with different ROIs that we have measured with our partners and customers. So we are able to accompany those brands in order for them to leverage and maximize the return on investment of this data.
So that's really fascinating. I'd now like to just briefly ask you about your experience of the e-payments challenge. So if you cast your mind back to the end of January, you were participating in that, obviously having some great successes there. Do you want to just share a few words about your experience of it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, David. We joined the challenge at the last minute because we were just starting a collaboration with the Worldline teams. And very excited experience. We built a demo quickly with our product and technical teams. We built a pitch and a live demo over the phone to address the two challenges around secure payments and fraud prediction. At first, we have built the pitch in French, especially in French, in front of French juries in the morning for the two challenges. And after our first two victories, we had to adapt our demo and pitch with a lot of stress and concentration because in less than 1 hour in English and to go in front of the Worldline Grand Jury in the early afternoon. And we are extremely proud to have been awarded by the Grand Jury a special prize for most disruptive technology, which gives us great visibility at Worldline and accelerates product integration.
It's a great great achievement, but also I know it's really fast-paced, the e-payments challenge. I mean, everything is really moving quickly during those days.
Yeah. And I would like to thank the speakers and organizers of this valuable event for FinTech startups. It's very, very helpful for startups.
Thank you. And I know the behind-the-scenes team will be delighted to hear that, because I know they put a lot of effort in. And I know also they had last-minute changes due to COVID that also didn't make things any easier for them. But yeah, I think it was a really good challenge this year. And congratulations on your great result there. So perhaps just to finish off, I'd love to ask both of you if there's one trend or something emerging that you think maybe people aren't noticing so much now, but that could have a really big impact in the future.
Yeah, sure. To stay in our universe, we really believe that voice CRM is going to become essential, leaving the hands free to an agent during its conversation.
Yeah. Of course, I completely agree with Roman about CRM completion, agent assist. I also believe that voice will be more and more embedded in many IoT devices, for example, as well in-shop human interactions to help vendors live. And it's only the beginning of voice use cases application over different devices. But we must not forget that the data safety is crucial as well. And all those applications need to be seamless and fully secured and non-intrusive for the end customers. And that's why at Allomedia, it's really a big subject for us at providing state-of-the-art data protection of our voice application. And I feel that it will become bigger and bigger because there's more and more, and especially in Europe with the GDPR compliance and everything. And it seems like the American players seem to forget and lack of solution of those data protection breaches. And that's why I think it's big. It's already a big subject, but it's going to begin to be much and more bigger for end customers to protect our data when we speak over and we share over a conversation.
It's if I can just react on that slightly, it reminds me of I used to be involved in some research studies where we would conduct stakeholder interviews, and we would have this practice of one person doing the interview whilst another person was taking notes and listening as well. Because if you're trying to note down everything, it's really hard to really pay attention and listen and also build rapport with the person you're speaking to. And I guess that's what you're saying with the CRM case, is actually you want the person to be able to totally listen to the client and react and build a rapport with them, not have to worry about entering details into a CRM system whilst they're talking. And I guess that's where it becomes very complementary potentially, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Those are some of the use cases we provide also over remote videos and everything in order to help you take notes and be fully concentrated on the conversation you're having without having the notes to be taken by your hand.
And maybe just one other, I don't know if this is what you were hinting at, but do you have this vision then that at some point it will also just be when we're in our natural day-to-day life that it will be quite normal to have speech recognition operating in the background and transcribing your conversation so that you can always go back and find what you spoke to someone about? Was that what you were suggesting? Or
no, it was more about in-shop interaction with vendor, for example, in order to collect data. Sometimes it's much more easier through voice than spelling or or noting things into it's same kind of stuff, or helping live with voice interaction in shop for different subjects, different advices from a vendor or from an automated robot,
Yeah. And I guess that's a natural progression because we're seeing kind of digitization of the in-store experience. But usually at the moment, that means a touch screen and typing, to be honest. It's
absolutely typing onto the screen. And today you can type. And today we provide and we crack over complex interaction through voice, and we are able to have a high accuracy over those complex kind of interactions that you need to type today into machines,
And in that case, if you get into the store and there are like a lot of people and the few people next to you speaking naturally, not to the machine, but you want to speak to the screen to recognize yourself, to order something, or to check something, it needs to be really precise recognition of the voice to make sure that the AI or technology capture just the voice of the person who is speaking to the machine and not the voice which is outside or around next to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It needs to be very deep in precision, and also there's a lot of subjects around biometrics as well. So, there's a lot of things you can add to this to those layers in order for that to be the most, as you said, seamless. Because today, you can have a lot of people speaking around, and it's the question of knowing who's speaking and what does it want, And that's why we are really good, because it's over acoustic models. We can have a sense of this the speaker intention.
Super. So if I could maybe try and summarize a little bit our discussion. We started with that question of how can you listen to your customers? And I think clearly AI has already had an impact there in allowing organizations to process speech automatically using computers. I think we all expect that trend to continue. It's really interesting to hear about the benefits, because of course there's this natural idea that it saves costs and gives you efficiencies, but of course it also can provide a better experience to the end user and give an organization more data, which gives them more insights about their customers. So that is clearly another benefit. Also interesting to hear some of those challenges around the technical integration, but also the change management part as well. So that was interesting to hear. And then these ideas for the future. So CRM assisted through voice recognition in stores. I think those are, A, I can see the benefit, and B, it feels like the technology is not so far away from being able to achieve some of that. So I really want to thank you, Romain, for joining our podcast. It's been a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Ina. Very, very, very happy to be here, and very, very good sum up, David.
Well, I do listen. You see, the title of the podcast was How to Listen, so
Great.
I thought I'd better make an effort. And Romain Roulier as well. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ina and David. We try to answer our best. We are not English, so our English is not perfect, but thank you very much.
Well, I will say it's very good is the first thing, and it's certainly 1,000 million times better than my French, which I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying anything in French on the podcast. But no, really, thank you for joining us. And Ina, of course, thank you for being here again too.
Thank you, gentlemen. It was a very insightful exchange.
So the next regular episode will be out in a few weeks' time, and that's tackling this question of, do payments need to become greener? If you would like to contact us, give us any feedback, propose topics for future podcasts, you can email us on ndp-podcast@worldline.com. Please take a moment to leave us a review and subscribe to the podcast. And then, of course, the final thing that I would like to do is thank you, the listener, for joining us as we navigate digital payments.
Thank you for listening to the Navigating Digital Payments podcast, brought to you by Worldline. Join us next time to learn more about the latest innovations, trends, and predictions for the future of payments.